Good evening, folks. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Monday, August 18th, 2025 regular City Council meeting. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to move item number 5D to 5A.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. That will cover our fiscal year 25-26 budgets in the public hearing. If you would, please, Mr. Funderburk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Before I begin through the funds, just to point out to everybody, as council and staff is aware, we will be changing our fiscal year with this coming fiscal year. So we will run a budget from October 1st to June 30th. And then we will begin our 26-27 fiscal year beginning July 1 of 2026. So that's why a lot of the numbers are gonna seem a little bit odd versus what you normally see. So first, to cover the general fund, you've got an anticipated $16,076,217 in revenues, over expenditures of $14,195,977. Your beach and swim center fund at $172,250, over expenses of $117,805. Your TCOG fund at $5,890,105, over expenditures of $5,650,062. Your stormwater fund at $1,200,000, over expenditures of $894,908. Our events tourism budget at $162,965, over expenditures of $162,965, and your hospitality tax at an estimated $300,000, over expenditures of $239,315. Your various funds, and these are all in your general fund. Your council budget is projected over that 9-month period at $61,389. Our municipal court budget is projected with expenditures of $264,916. Our administration department at $837,527. Our development services budget department at $539,255. Public Works at $841,542. Police Department at $3,954,652. Fire Department at $2,905,452. Your Parks and Rec budget at $1,490,676, and non-departmental at $3,330,568. So those are your budget funds. Now, just to get into a little bit more specifics in the revenues, we're anticipating, because this was a reassessment year, right now the budget is proposed to go from 89 mills to 87 mills. So total tax collections at $9,363,496. Our license fines and fees at $4,058,075. Our state shared revenues, that's revenues that come back to us from the state, at $260,878. Our recreation revenues totaling at $557,600. And then our other miscellaneous revenues that we collect throughout the year, including transfers in from other funds and what have you, is $1,835,538 for total revenues of your $16,076,217. So just a few notes on the budget. Again, as I said, the millage rate is set at 87 mills, and that's due to the reassessment year coming from the county. So we'll be rolling, at least as the budget sits right now, it's envisioning rolling back to 87, or excuse me, we would roll back to 82.3 mills and then climb back up to 87 mills as far as the budget sits right now. And council, we can discuss that further when we get to that agenda item if you would like. 9-month, again, it's a 9-month budget to reset future fiscal years from July 1 to July 30th. That puts us in line with the state's and the county's fiscal year. And a big focus on public safety and infrastructure through this 9-month budget. It does envision adding 7 new employees, 2 additional employees in our TCOG budget, and those are maintenance employees, 3 additional firefighters, 1 additional dispatcher in PD, and adding a HR specialist to our HR team. There will be a 8% sewer rate increase, and this is a pass-through coming from the City of Rock Hill. Originally, it was at 10%, and they've been able to reduce that back to 8%. It does anticipate a continuation of the Park Action Plan that is both in the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and has been shared with y'all from our Parks and Recreation Director. It also envisions re-landscaping of Windward Median, basically converting it to look more like TKK Drive with grass and things like that, and a lot of new color, and a completion of the Windjammer Shoreline Stabilization project that began this year. Council has discussed in your last budget workshop, we do anticipate being able to acquire 2 maintenance trucks with utility department, 2 replacement dump trucks in our stormwater division, public works, 2 maintenance trucks, with the in our fire department, 1 equipment truck, and again that is a replacement. And then Parks and Rec, it's 1 replacement and 1 new mower, plus a light-duty dump truck for that department. So I talked briefly about the with the rollback due to the reassessment. So I want to talk briefly about the what the reassessment and what people can anticipate, at least from what the county has told us. So the average reassessment in TKK is about 15% of your property value. So anybody that paid taxes last year and is still living in the same house this year, as the county has explained to us, they're capped at 15%, so it won't go above 15% on the value, right? If you're new to your home, and here, especially here in TKK, but this is countywide, if you're new to your home and you haven't paid taxes at that residence yet, it could go higher than 15%, but they did tell us that the average assessment increase is 15%. So, and that is handled by the county's tax assessor office. So what you see here is currently, and this is just based on $100,000, your 4% assessment rate gives you an assessed value of $4,000 multiplied by the millage rate, and that gives you your tax value per year. So based on the current, which is 89 mills, it's been like that for quite some time, on $100,000, you'd be paying $356,000. At $115,000, so with a 15% increase, that takes that value up to $115,000. Again, at the 4% assessment rate, with that gives you an assessed value of $4,600. And again, using that millage rate of 87 mills, it gives you a tax value of $400 or an increase of $44 for the current over what you're currently doing, or $4 a month on a price per month basis. So as you can plug in whatever the value of your house will be, and that will take you to, and you can follow that formula. So on a if your house was $500,000, right, before the reassessment, and this year it would be valued at $575,000. That's with the 4% assessment rate, and then the 87 mills, you'd be looking at a taxes owed to the city of $2,001 approximately. So that's the taxes and those calculations as far as how that runs. As folks saw at the beginning, we are showing a hefty surplus. Again, this is because we're collecting basically 12 months worth of revenue, and we have 9 months worth of expenses. We'll still have expenses with very little revenues coming in, as is typical that time of year, in July, August, and September. Those 3 months run approximately, as far as an expense standpoint, about $1.5 million to get through those 3 months. And that's pretty much the same any fiscal year that we have. Usually in October, November, we are having to pull from our reserve funds to pay the bills and continue to operate the city until we start getting our tax revenues in December, January, February, with January and February being our biggest months. And then all of our, we replenish our reserves, and our finance team does a great job of trying to add to those reserves as much as they can to keep us continue to go forward. Our reserve interest rate right now in the local government investment pool in Columbia is at 4.51%. So with the amount that we've got in there now, we're earning about $45,000. Is that right? 47? About $47,000 a month on that interest. So our money is working for us. So that is the budget presentation. And council, I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this point in time.
Does anyone have any questions?
Charlie, when you
Yes,
talked
ma'am.
about, and we've had discussions about the millage, we had originally talked about the rollback going to, well, we originally talked about going to 2 mills, going higher 2 mills from what the
Correct.
total rollback was. And then we got word from the county that it was going to go further back than they
Correct.
had first said.
Yes, ma'am.
And now we're looking at, is it 5?
8.2, 5 point what? 4.7. Yep, it's almost 5, yep.
Okay. If what we needed was to fund the budget was 2, do we need to go to 4.7 at this point? And what would be some of the things that you would be allocating for that additional funding?
So I'm going to answer that two different ways for you, if you will. So do we need to? No. Yeah, we're very comfortable. I would say at 86 mills for sure. 85 potentially, right? But as far as planning for the future and the future growth, give me 1 second. Let me open up this other file. And department heads and I are going to begin on Monday with updating our CIP. And instead of trying to do a 10-year forecast, really just drilling that into 5 years. To be honest, over the last many years, it's been hard to forecast past 3 years because there's so many things that are occurring that are beyond our control. I don't think I'd have lost sizable money saying we'd ever look at inflation at 18% like it got to a few years ago. So, just looking at some various park projects and things like that, not adding new, but enhancing or renovating what we have in various pocket parks and on the walking trails and things like that. Over the next 5 to 7 years, based on today's pricing, you're at an estimated $3.237 million that could be coming down the road over the next 5 years. Now, that's not set in stone by any means, and again, that's based on today's numbers. So as we've seen with everything, both in our personal lives and obviously it's the same with us here with the city, the price of everything continues to climb. So the cost of doing business, if we don't do anything new this year, is going to be more expensive next year. But with and then you've got aging fleet and equipment that has to be replaced from time to time. You could have upwards of another $4 million on top of that. So at 87 mills, I feel like it definitely helps us plan better, be more prepared for the future over the next 5, 6, 7 years. But again, as the Grove comes online with the new commercial and things like that, as the Windhaven commercial area continues to build out, then obviously that'll have to be reevaluated. But as we sit here, because we don't know exactly what those revenues are going to be. I mean, we do know that it will be additional revenues, but to drill it down to a dollar amount, yeah, it's almost impossible now because you don't know the types of businesses that'll go in there, what their business license fees will be, what new hospitality tax revenues that'll come in and things of that nature. So, yeah, at 87, I think it does not give us pause at the staff level. At 86, I think we're still good. Yeah, so if we were to change, if council were to change the millage, go back to my other sheet here, during that portion of the meeting and decide to not go to 87 mills and to go back to 87 or go back to 86 mills, you'd be revenues over expenditures of about $1.772 million. And then at 85 mills, you're at 1.665. So there's not a lot of cushion over that 1.5 mills to be able to put away for those future identified needs, at least the ones that we have right now. And again, we're going to get more in depth in that next week with my department heads. But 86, you're about $272,000 over that 1.5 mils that we'll need as operational cash, and that's a healthy amount. But in our current fiscal year, I think we plan on about $400,000 going into our reserves, or throughout the budget year is considered operational contingency. But at the end of the fiscal year, for Bob to be able to transfer that over into the LGIP so that it can grow that interest. So financially we're in really good shape. We want to continue to grow our money and let our money work for us, so that in those future years, whether it be due to a storm like we had the end of September last year, that was a very big unexpected expenses that came through. Fortunately, between FEMA and, we're still waiting on the FEMA funds, but insurance covered a lion's share of that, and FEMA is going to be picking up pretty much the rest of that and then some. So those unexpected things, they're going to pop up, and we feel like we've gotten our reserves into a really good spot to be able to handle those things when they do. But to be able to plan for the future and not have to try to eat the elephant all in one bite, so to speak, and be able to put funds aside, as you and I, Ms. Miller, talked about this afternoon, and not really earmark them for that, but have that plan to show that, okay, in 5 years' time, we're estimating this project is going to cost us X amount of dollars. Being able to put those dollars aside now and build up to that so it's not as big of a hit and we're able to pull those from reserves. My recommendation would be, as I told y'all earlier today, I like where the 87 mills puts us for the future, but we can absolutely make this work with the 86 mills for sure.
And this rollback happens, or this reassessment happens every 5 years.
Every 5
right?
years, yes, ma'am.
So there's a potential conversation that can happen as we look at this going
Correct.
forward. It isn't a now or never.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of great things, exciting things that we're forecasting over the next 5 years, especially with the commercial developments that we have been long awaiting. Stonecrest, when it was first built, gave our budget a healthy shot in the arm with those additional revenues that we were able to bring in. The Grove and Windhaven commercial areas we're anticipating that being equal and more as it comes in. So, being able to collect the revenues now while we can, so that we're prepared for those new things in the future. Plus, your millage rate can be it's discussed every year, during the budget process. So it's not 87 or 86 mills from now until forever. But we were at 89 mills for the better part of 15 years, I believe. So, which is great. But growth the additional revenues coming from the growth has allowed us to keep that millage rate pretty flat over the last several years. But every 5 years they do a reassessment. So while the reassessment took us back to 82.3 and now the budget we're showing it at 87, the next reassessment could take it back, could have an even bigger rollback. This is the first time, at least in the last 25 years during the reassessment period, where we've actually been at a rollback situation like we are this year.
One question, Charlie. With the rollback in if we stayed at 87, is you've projected here, it would give us some cushion, and we could save that cushion for when the impact fees end and help cover some of the additional costs. But
Yes, sir.
could we also potentially use that to pay off debt going forward?
Absolutely. I mean,
In order to get ready for those impact fees ending, because, and my big concern, I've talked about 4 years, is
Yes, sir.
what happens when the impact fees ends, which
Yes,
is
sir.
over $1 million a year.
You've been very clear on that concern. Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a real thing, because impact fees aren't designed to pay 100% of the cost, right?
Right.
They're only supposed to cover a fraction of it. So right now, we're using impact fees that are covering 100% of the cost, but that day is going to come to an end to where the tax base is paying, the remainder of that. So yes, so all of our cash, with the exception of what we receive from Lennar for the future Windhaven Park, that's the only cash that, and ARPA funds. Those are the only two amounts are restricted, right? That councils have voted that that's what this is for, right? Everything else is unrestricted cash and reserves. So whether it be, this council, the next council, or some council 10 years from now, if those funds are sitting there, yes. To answer your question, yes, it could be used to pay off debt early, if that's what council want to do. It could be used for cash for, we need to replace a play set, or we need some replacement equipment to be able to serve the residents. It could absolutely be used for that. Absolutely.
How do we plan to actually implement that? Because if we're going to say that let's say we go with the 87 and we have X amount of overage from what our budget is, and we're, like Tom said, we're looking at possibly paying off some debt earlier. How do we say, okay, it's been 2 years, this is the money, is that how that works?
It will be done during
because
your
right now,
budget
the way
workshops.
it feels like we could use it that way, but maybe we'll find something else to use it. So if we're going to ask to have less of a rollback, I want to make sure that what we're putting it to use for is actually what we're going to do.
Correct. So when staff puts together the budgets to present to council and have those conversations during workshop, we don't include any conversations about reserve funds. Those are there and sitting. So every year during the budget workshop and the budget planning process that we do with council, that would be the time where we would have those conversations about, hey, where are we at with this particular bond, and can we pay that off sooner versus later and save a little bit on interest? Now, the good thing is with our bonds, with the exception of the ladder truck, you are looking at it's the ladder truck and the new grapple truck that we picked up, that we were able to acquire this year. All of your highest interest rate, other than those, would be your City Hall bond at 3.04%. Everything else, you're looking at 2.3, 2.5, 1.45. So they're very, very low interest, extremely low interest. And again, we're earning about 4.5%. But again, to bring it back around to the question that was asked, yes. How would we go about doing that? It would be during a conversation with council during the budget workshops and getting y'all's priorities from y'all to help lead staff as we build those budgets to meet your priorities.
Do you have any further questions? Okay.
Public.
Thank you, Mr. Funderburk.
Any public comments on it?
Do what?
Typically, we do
We
any
don't have
public
any
comments. Didn't have
public-
anybody? Okay,
Any
good
comments?
enough.
So, seeing none, we'll move on.
Yes, sir.
All right. That will bring us to our city manager's report, if you would, Mr. Funderburk, again, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. In our administration department last month, we processed ARPA funds to support small businesses in the community per council's direction. 10 of the 35 applicants qualified and did receive funding. The remainder of those funds will be used by Tega as part of the wastewater treatment plant projects that will begin very soon. We've actually got our pre-construction meeting next week scheduled for that, for those projects. In development services, at its August meeting, the Planning Commission approved the preliminary plats for The Grove Phase 1 and Alderwood, which was formerly called Lakewood, so down at the intersection of Dam Road and New Gray Rock Road. And that one consists of 56 single-family homes that are, I would call them estate-style homes. These approvals authorize construction of all the required infrastructure. The Grove will launch a project website and hold a ribbon cutting in the coming weeks. We will advertise both the ribbon cutting and that website, and we'll have a landing spot on our webpage where people can easily find that. They're going to keep that updated as far as ongoing construction, and they're going to have leasing updates for any commercial folks coming in and things like that. They've talked about posting periodic drone videos of the site so folks can get a bird's eye view, if you will, along with photos. So looking forward to them getting that up and running. Staff is also coordinating closely with the developer, city engineer, and outside consultants to address some of the erosion control issues brought on by I think we're at about 12 to 13 inches of rain thus far this month. All the additional temporary measures that were identified to include additional rows of super silt fencing, diversion ditches, and temporary sediment ponds have been installed, and work is scheduled to begin this week, if it will stop raining, on the permanent retention pond for that site. So hopefully they're able to get that in sooner rather than later, and the weather will cooperate. Staff has received a proposal for a 1-acre commercial development on the southwest side of Hubert Graham Parkway in the Windhaven community. Infrastructure-related comments have been provided back to the project engineer as part of that review process. And this is, if you're familiar with where the vacant tract of land is, where the cemetery sits, this is in the far back part of that piece of property. So it's plus or minus 1 acre, and they're looking at 3 commercial buildings on there. But we've got some stormwater concerns as far as it connecting to the rest of the system that they're working through right now. I'd also like to welcome Theo Markarov to our team. Theo's here with us tonight. He has joined our Development Services Department as a Planner 1. And he's assisting Nick with our Planning Commission. He'll be handling BOZA and things like that. So welcome to Theo, and we're glad to have him on board on the team. And lastly, we had a vacancy come up in the Planning Commission as one of the members has moved out of the area. We started soliciting applications and have reached out to all the prior applicants, encouraging them to reapply. And we're anticipating bringing those applications back to council no later than your October meeting to try to fill that position. In our fire department, they hosted the York County Fire Chiefs meeting here at the Glennon Center. The evening brought together multiple agencies for valuable collaboration and planning. August is National Traffic Safety Month. We'd like to encourage everyone to buckle up and stay alert, as our fire department has responded to several recent accidents involving serious injuries. So be careful out there on the roads. A huge thank you to everyone from the fire department who attended the public safety meeting on the 7th and also supported the fire department spray down out at Catawba Park as part of Firehouse Stories. They felt like both events were a great success, and if you missed it and want more information on future events, just check us out on our website, follow us on our social media, because we do a good job of posting those things out there. Parks and Recreation and Council, I think you'll find this very interesting, as we had a lot of conversations about the non-city fees. Really didn't impact us much at all from our registration number. So fall sports registration is officially complete, and the kids are on teams and practicing. We've got 2,167 kids enrolled, which is fantastic. I think, Dustin, we're about 50 maybe off, give or take?
For ours, about 40, we're about 140.
Okay. So about 140, give or take, 40 primarily with us. Yeah, we'll see how that reflects in the spring. I believe our neighbors on the other side of the interstate, at least is what their managers told me, that they will be implementing those same fees come October 1st. So they'll be effective in the winter sports. So we've got 1,016 in our city run programs as far as your baseball, flag football, and softball, and then 1,151 in soccer. And as I said earlier, all those teams have begun practicing. So you've probably seen a lot of kids out at Catawba Park and at Rundy and at Turner having a good time. Due to the weather, unfortunately, the concert at the park scheduled for this past Saturday was canceled. But be sure to mark your calendars for our next big event. Ms. Hasty's got the Catawba Fest scheduled for Saturday, September 27th. Vendor applications are due by September 1st, and full event details can be found on our website. So moved it up a little bit. Hopefully the weather's going to cooperate with us a lot better than it has in October, and we shouldn't have as many other competing events around us. So looking forward to a great time there. And our maintenance staff, just a big shout out to our Parks and Rec maintenance staff. They've been hard at work on several key projects, including refreshing the area around the fountain, repurposing the turf from the soccer fields, the blank field that's out there. We're able to repurpose that. They've completed several landscaping upgrades throughout the city, and they just keep rocking and rolling. So they're doing a great job there. And I'm told that in the coming week we're going to start seeing some projects happening out at the Memorial Gardens. So, and thank you to the TKK Garden Club for getting involved with our Parks and Rec team and helping out there. Our police department and their monthly stats. 491 calls for service, 39 incident reports, 3,290 property checks, 465 traffic stops, 93 parking citations, 8 vehicle collisions, 13 custodial arrests, 3 DUI arrests, 2 community events, and a partridge in a pear tree. They've been very busy, very, very busy. But they're averaging a response time right now of just right around 4 minutes. So they're working hard and getting after it, and we definitely appreciate that. As of September 1st, in case you haven't heard, there is a new law, state law, that will be taking place. And this law makes it illegal to hold and use a mobile electronic device while driving. For those that have not switched over to the hands-free driving and the Bluetooth, it's state law come September 1. You can use an earpiece, speakerphone, or device mounted in your vehicle for calls, navigation, or music as long as you aren't holding it. So just be very, very aware of that coming out September 1st. So, Chief also wants me to encourage everyone to register or donate for the 11th annual Camp Cadet Golf Tournament. It's going to be on Thursday, October 10th, here at the TK Golf Course. And this is our primary fundraiser for Holidays with a Hero and Camp Cadet. Both very, very worthwhile programs. And to learn more, you can either visit our website, email Sergeant Maggie Bowers, or visit their Facebook page. And there's information on there. So get those golf teams signed up and ready to play for on October the 10th. And then lastly, our Public Works Department, other than their normal patching roads and picking up curbside debris and things of that nature, they have started their trip hazard mitigation program on our sidewalks. So we've got a contractor in that is grinding raised edges and things like that, eliminating those trip hazards. That we've already replaced panels that were lifted too far to grind. So they're primarily working right now in the Lakeshore area. But we keep a running list with that team, and we tackle those every year, tackle a bunch of them. So that progress is, or that project is underway. And that concludes my report for this evening, unless y'all have any questions for me.
Anybody have any questions?
I have one, if I may, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
The request for commercial property adjacent to Windhaven, could you give me maybe 2 questions?
Okay.
Is that commercial, the request, is it commercial, residential, retail, professional?
It's just commercial retail.
Okay.
At least as the owner and project engineers have expressed to us.
Excellent. And the approval process, will that go through planning and council? Or
No, sir, it's by right.
Okay.
It's by right. So they have to comply with the Windhaven PDD. And it's already part of that commercial village. There's a larger village next door to it. So just trying to figure out the stormwater between the two before any groundbreaking or things like that. But at 1 acre, it's relatively small. 3 buildings may be ambitious with the required amount of parking, but right now we're just working through the stormwater piece of that since it will tie into the infrastructure that's already there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Mr. Funderburk.
Yes, sir.
That will bring us to our public comments, cover our committee commission reports. And we'll start with our planning commission. Nick Amico. Nick Coffin.
That's fine. If he's not here, then I'll go ahead
Brian?
and I'll get it. Yeah.
That's fine.
So the Planning Commission held their meeting this month, August 4th. There was a quorum. The first thing they did was approve the minutes for July of 2025, and there was 2 items that were discussed. Charlie covered these a little while ago, but the first one they discussed was the approval of the Alderwood preliminary plat. That is formerly the Lakewood property that is being developed on Dam Road and River Run. Some good conversation surrounding that. The second item that they covered was to discuss the approval for the Grove preliminary plat Phase 1. That is formerly known as Main Street TGK. There was a lot of conversation there. One of the major concerns was stormwater. One of the things that they were doing, besides the items that Charlie mentioned earlier, is they want to install like large underground stormwater vaults and catch basins because it's a concern for the developer and the city as well to make sure that we control that stormwater. So that's something new that they're doing and developing. There was one person that spoke for public comments as well.
Thank you, Councilman Carter. Bring us to our Economic Development Commission, Ashley Raven,
Ashley's not here. I'll take it.
if you would, Ms. Miller.
So the EDC Economic Development Committee met on July 28th. There was discussion with member Chris Frankenhauser, gave an update on his experience meeting and networking with the Rock Hill Economic Development Commission and getting ideas on how to potentially utilize some of their focus groups on small businesses to benefit ours. There was also discussion about the next Business Connect meeting, which is going to be in September. Leanne Lordo, who is the CFO of the Fort Mill School District, will be the guest speaker. If any of you want to understand or know more about how the Fort Mill School District works, especially with the financial side and how it impacts us as residents, that would be a really good one to go to. There were 2 residents that spoke and shared comments during that meeting, and they spoke about marketing and utilizing our current developments to attract future businesses. Oh, there was also a Business Connect that happened in, was it July? My months are running together with Joe Harris. It was at Model A. It was very well attended, and Joe shared his plans for developing the areas in front of Windhaven. And that was it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. So we don't have a Stormwater Environmental Committee meeting this month, so that would lead us to our steering committee for the comprehensive plan. We will have a meeting this month, and let's see, is it the 15th?
Wednesday the 20th.
Wednesday the 20th. So we'll be meeting on that. We've got some focus groups that are going to be coming in and giving us some information, and so we look forward to that. That's on the Wednesday. Yeah, it's on the Wednesday. 8 a.m. to 11, is it 11:30?
No, it's all day.
It's like 4 different things, and it's from 8 to 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So we'll have those committee meetings, or the focus groups coming in. So we encourage those folks that were invited to come on in and give us your opinions and help us make the decisions for the city for the next 25 years. RFATS, we did not have a meeting this month, so we're looking forward to getting back together this next month, and so we'll have that on was it the 3rd Friday of the month. So we'll have that coming up, and we look forward to making sure we're on schedule for all of the road infrastructure projects that we've got going on so far. Everything does look to be in order and on schedule, so we'll be swinging girders and putting down some asphalt and throwing up some gravity walls out on 160 pretty quick. So looking forward to that, those pieces coming in and getting in. So that project is moving right along very quickly. As long as the rain doesn't hold us up anymore, we'll be able to stay on schedule. All right, and that will bring us to the COG. Councilman Htslip.
Thank you, Mayor. The Catawba Council of Government met on August 14th at their office in Rock Hill. We had a presentation by the South Carolina Energy Office, and they made us aware of 2 different types of grants for municipalities. I know I emailed Charlie the details in all the council, but for the public's awareness, the first is an energy efficiency and conservation block grant, and up to $100,000 with no matching. And historically, they said they have not funded everything, so there's a good chance if we apply for something, we may receive that. It deals mostly with like new lighting in a facility, HVAC units, anything that's going to improve the energy efficiency of a facility. And then the second one is what they call mini grants, typically they're only $10,000, but because no one applied for them, they're up to $25,000 this year. Similar type grants. I think Rock Hill put in a couple Tesla chargers or something last year, and outfitted another building with new lighting. So one thing they did mention is if this is something you can just apply on at any time, but if you're going to apply, they recommended having one of their technicians come out and do an energy assessment before you apply, because they'll identify areas that are inefficient and make recommendations, and then you can attach that report to your application and have a better chance of being approved. So hopefully we can take advantage of that and maybe get some free money from the state to improve some facilities.
Yeah, Joey's actively working on that and has a team put together.
Awesome.
And getting that rolling.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And the only other thing at the COG was they elected a new biannual board, and so that is it, and we'll meet next quarter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Htslip. Now, bring us to our public comments this evening, folks. As always, state your name and your address, and we will be sticking to a strict 3 minutes this evening. Up first, we have Lisa Prudzinski.
Good evening, everyone. You got my name right, Prudzinski. Lisa Prudzinski, 564 Placid Court. I've been a resident of Tega since 2017. I remain concerned about the ongoing runoff situation with Nivens Creek. The historic impact of the runoff from Cameron Creek and the town's homes, Trinity Towns, developments on Nivens Creek has also been very detrimental. It's very clear that the adequate measures were not taken by those responsible at the time of that development, so it's no wonder that we're so sensitive about what's happening now with Main Street. The silt fence along Stonecrest and the subsequent modifications are very much appreciated. However, I feel we need to be doing more on a continuing basis. There's still runoff at the bottom of the hill near Trinity Towns and also at the top of the hill across from Reliance Court. Both of those locations have significant visible flow into the lake during rain events. So I guess my question is, what other measures can we be taken to be proactive? Can we be doing turbidity curtains on both the top and the bottom? I'm not the expert there, but I would like everyone to consider what we can do proactively and more to address the situation. We had the, we'll call the spring water main event, that cleanup situation. We had an email chain there. And that was a good example of an unplanned event that had significant consequences unintended on the lake. So again, what can we do proactively to prevent that going forward? Appreciate your attention to that, to protect the waterway and our property values. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Gus Machunas.
All right, Gus Machunas, 376 Commonwealth in TK. Thank you. 3 minutes seems like an eternity when you're up there. It's not very long when you're over here. So one question I never did get answered was, as happens with these developments, came home one day, they'd been working behind the scenes, all of a sudden all the trees are gone, huge big pile of dirt, shredded trees sitting on top of the pile of dirt, and in the middle of thunderstorm season overnight, I guess our stormwater prevention plan allowed them not to put up a silt fence along Stonecrest Drive until the day after while it was already raining. Why would we allow that to happen? That doesn't make sense to me. But then again, I change oil for a living. I immediately sent emails to city staff and to some of you because I could see that there was no way that the thousands of yards of dirt and the slope of that hill, that the silt fence was going to hold it up. The only difference between it and anything that had ever been used before was instead of using the stakes in the ground, they had a chain link fence behind the canvas. and I was told that the canvas was super silt fence, but it was one layer super silt fence. And of course it rained and it collapsed. And all that thousands of yards of dirt came rushing over that fence. It got down in that wetland. When it went through the wetland, it got into the creek and went through the culvert. It comes under the culvert, under Stonecrest. It gets in the creek. It comes into the lake in Nivens Creek. I got pictures. I sent them to all of you. There was a mound of that shredded tree debris in the middle of the lake. Do not tell me it did not come from that job site. So go back to historically. When they built, I used to go back there and wakeboard. You used to go way back behind where the beach club, it didn't used to be there. The marina was there. Well, you could go back there and there was 8-10 feet of water, and you could make a wakeboard run from there all the way up to the dam in 8-10 feet of water. All right. Crescent Resources went back there and built those docks. So they built Walmart, and we couldn't do anything about it because we weren't MS4. And it filled in. There was a turbidity curtain in the water. So it filled in. Fine, we couldn't do anything. Trinity Towns got built. We were MS4. It filled in. We went to DHEC. It was filling in. We were told that it was, the creek was collapsing. Did anybody think when the calculations were made that we were supposed to be making, because we're MS4, anybody think that when we made, or DHEC made, or whoever made Miller get rid of that illegal pond that he made, was that part of the calculations? Was that part of the calculations, and we didn't allow for that because we got a lot more water, volume, and velocity coming through that creek. That's why the creek bed collapsed. All I know is the cove is filled in. So what I want to know, and what the residents down there want to know, is who's going to pay for remediation, and why don't we do that? If we're MS4, why are we relying on the state to decide what is going to be done and what the standards are for the stormwater prevention plan? Thank you for my 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Thank you, Gus. Ron Kirby.
Good evening. Ron Kirby, 1182 Molokai Drive. First of all, I thank you all for letting me come up here. I know I went over my time last time, and I thank you for it. Nobody else was here, so I don't think it was that big of an exception. But anyways, I certainly appreciate all of you, what you do, your respect. Whether we agree or disagree on things, we're still neighbors and friends. Our kids go to school together. We play golf together, socialize together, what have you. I brought you a petition some 4 or 5 weeks ago that had over 500 signatures. I could have probably brought another 1,500 if we'd have stayed with it in another couple of days. Overwhelmingly, the people have said their choice for the food and beverage is the Shore Club. Now, you folks asked to be elected to represent us and be financially responsible. If you look at the numbers in black and white, I didn't invite the person, but there's a person here the other evening at the public comments that owns over $100 million worth of commercial real estate. He owns 2 restaurants, well-respected individual. He lived here for 30 years. He was just interested, and his friend invited him to come. He called me the next day. He said, you know, that would have been a simple decision for me, because I want to know who's going to pay the bill. I got the property sitting there, and you got a man that's already proved 10 years that he'll make it happen because you got a facility that's out of whack. I take responsibility and part of that from when it started, but it's a little bitty kitchen and a lot to be thankful for, and I'm proud of it. So with that, I would ask you, again, I know it's been tough. I thank you for your time. I'd ask you to table for more study on the groups and to get more advice and even get a public poll of opinion. It's one of our largest tax revenues is the Shore Club, and thank you for that. Remember, I know some people don't want to be told what to do, and you got more information than we've got. I respect that. but you represent the people, so listen to the people and be their voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Bill Cooster.
That's Bill Custer, like the general. There you go. 618 Pine Links Drive. I think that's all you wanted. I've lived here 7, 8 years, and I've seen years when we couldn't find somebody who would want to take the contract, and I think John's done a good job with it. And I'd ask, when I went to the last meeting and there was an opportunity to go talk to the people who made presentations, I went to the city manager and asked him, like, do you expect these people to pay $15,000 day one? And he said, well, that's what the contract says, but that's where we'll negotiate. Well, if you're going to negotiate, why wouldn't you negotiate with a guy who's been serving you for 10 years? And I mean, that would be my first comment. I wouldn't suggest we table it because it's everybody's, John's contract's going to run out, and tabling it only, changes things. We've got people invited now to come and talk about it. The other one is, I think the council's got to take some responsibility for the fact that the structure that John's using and, is like in not a very good shape. I had my fingers crossed last Saturday night when a very popular band was on the deck, and I thought it would collapse. And I think that's not John's problem; that's the city's problem. When the bathrooms, need to be renovated, I don't think we need to go out to somebody outside of the city to come in and say, well, this should be a show place for the city, but we're going to go out and find a vendor who wants to pay money, and then we're going to reduce what they have to pay to the city because we don't want to finance improvements to the building that's owned by the city. And, part of the limitations that you have when you're running a building that's owned by the city is everybody thinks it's their building. If you've got, kids sitting at the bar at 4 p.m, I've never seen that happen before. It happens at this bar. We're on the deck. People, they bring dogs and stuff. And if you said, you can have a dog up here, they say, I'm a city resident. And it happens. So, I just really encourage the city to take some responsibility. And I'd certainly encourage him to, try to work with John. If he's not paying enough money, you already took money from the turn, which was substantial, to give it to Pinnacle to help run the golf course. And I'm sure the city's funding renovations to the golf course and, temporary greens and doing stuff like that. There wasn't any group pulled together to talk about that. It was just done by the council. So I really encourage you to talk to John, negotiate with him, and give him an opportunity to do what so many other people in petitions and stuff are trying to tell you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. John Musgrove.
Hi, John Musgrove, 446 Sugar Maple. I moved here about 7 years ago, and I moved here with all 3 of my adult kids, came here right from grad school. They all bought their own houses here in TKK. I'm here because of my best friend and neighbor from New York, Dan Urban. He owns the TKK Deli. I've been involved in restaurants for 40 years, and not one has ever failed. You remove John from here, it's going to fail. I'm telling you flat out. I'll give you a list of every restaurant I've been a part of. And my name is not anywhere. I just am an investor. And I wouldn't invest in anything. I'd invest in him. I spoke to him today, said, you have any plans? I'll be a partner. Because I know what he's done for 10 years for me and my family. I had my 60th birthday there last year. I'll be 61 next week. And he did an amazing job. He did my one and only granddaughter's christening, did an amazing job. I've had 7 parties with him, his staff, who I know and have become friends with. I'm so passionately pissed off that this is even being considered to give it to someone else. He brought us through COVID when the deli had to pay $300 for a case of eggs that were regularly $28. He didn't raise his prices. He lowered his prices. He kept his specials. He kept his $6 burger night. He kept his half-off apps for us in this community. None of these other people are going to do that. I don't know if you've been to those other restaurants. I took my family there 3 times. It was twice, and we went once recently to the other 2 restaurants that you're considering. Twice we had to return food, asked for a manager, got no response. He's not perfect. Food that comes out is not perfect. In any restaurant that we've ever been to, he settles it, he comes over, he apologizes, he makes it right. A lot of restaurants don't really give a crap. I'm sorry about the language. Yeah, I'm from New York, okay. The fact is, he's been a part of this community. I'm a part of this community. I now have a grandchild. We moved here for the Tega schools. Okay? I want to be part of this. I'm next door neighbors to him. My daughter is. And we've got into it over this thing. And I apologize. And I'm sorry. And I love you. But this is so important to us. And I have so many reasons, business-wise, why this is wrong. Okay? Plain and simple, the National Restaurant Association, 20% success rate for all restaurants. 20%. He's proved it for 10 years. Within 1 year, 30% go out of business. Within 5 years, 70% go out of business. Within 10 years, 90% are gone. And he's been through COVID and been doing it, like that other gentleman said, in a building that could need some help. So I'm just asking you to think about us, because I went around with a petition and I couldn't get them fast enough on the signatures. I went to one thing at Rundy and I couldn't get, they were lining up to sign it and they were shocked that it was even a question. So I just ask you to think about us. I know there's 4 or 5 of you going to vote, but there's thousands of us that, quite frankly, are sticking up for John because he's done the right thing for us. It's time for us to do the right thing for him.
Thank you, John. And that will bring us to the end of our council comments, or public comments. Okay. Moving on, we're going to do covering our approval of minutes. I would need a motion for each, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes on July 9th of 2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 14th, 2025 regular meeting.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented for July 21st, 2025.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'd like to approve the minutes for the July 23rd, 2025 special meeting as they're presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
June 23rd, 2025. Thank you.
It's July.
There's a typo there, sorry. It's July 23rd. Thank you.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. That will bring us, as previously adjusted on our agenda, that'll bring us to our new business of a consideration of awarding the food and beverage license agreement at the Tega Golf Club and Glennon Center. In accordance with the city's procurement code, proposals were solicited as the current license agreement is set to expire in February of 2026 with no further extensions. This item is before council to consider awarding that agreement. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to award the license agreement at the Tega Golf Club and Glennon Center to the Garrison.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I just wanted to remind y'all during discussion, Mr. Htslip did recuse himself. He has a conflict of interest. That was done properly. It's part of the minutes. So you can stay there, come to the side, but you're not to be involved in the discussion. And I know we've said that, but I wanted the public to hear that if they see you quiet as a mouse, just for legal reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaplain.
Okay, well, I've got discussion. When we were elected, we swore an oath to protect, defend, and preserve the Constitution of this state and the Constitution of the United States. Both of those documents read, "We the people." At the very beginning of those documents, they read, "We the people." We as elected officials are charged with doing what the people of our city want us to do. The people have spoken. There are over 500 signatures on a petition. And at my count with my emails, I had 36 emails to tell me that they wanted John Weinbrenner to be reinstated in the clubhouse. I had 27 emails to tell me that the Schaefer Group was wanted in the clubhouse. And I had one email to tell me that the Garrison was wanted in the clubhouse. I don't need fancy spreadsheets. I don't need fancy meetings. It's a matter of simple arithmetic. Overwhelmingly, the people of the city of Tega have requested that John Weinbrenner be reinstated into the clubhouse. Thank you. It is our duty as elected officials to do what the people of this city want us to do. And for the last 4 years, I have done my best to vote with the people of this community. I cannot and I will not vote against the people of this community tonight. And I am asking for this council to rescind the motion to appoint the Garrison and to make a motion to appoint John Weinbrenner as the purveyor of the Shore Club in our clubhouse. It's up to you what you do. To me, the people tell us what we need to do, and we need to follow what the people tell us to do as their elected officials. I yield the floor.
Okay. Thank you for your words, Mr. Mayor. First, let me start off by saying that this was not an easy decision to make. I'm aware that it affects multiple people in our community, business owners. John, I'm aware it was not an easy decision at all. With that said, I truly believe that the proposal that was presented to council was in the best interest overall for the city of Tega and its residents, and their bid was the most responsive. And I really feel that's one of the reasons, or one of the major reasons why I went with the Garrison.
This was not a quick, it was not a careless, it was not a reactive decision. It was thought out. It was researched. And I am not looking at this decision as not listening to the people. I also received, and I didn't count them, and maybe I should have, but I received an overwhelming amount of email, text messages, and phone calls from from every opinion. I took the same oath, and I take my responsibility of representing you, every single one of you. And this decision was not made as a friend. It was not made as a neighbor, and it was not made as a patron of the Shore Club. It was made as your elected official, looking at all of the information that we received, looking at the numbers, looking at the commitment, looking at the vision that was presented, and making, in what my opinion is, the best decision for the future of that asset for Tega Cay and the future of what we deserve as elected officials to do for you going forward. It's not an easy decision. It is a gut-wrenching decision. But it is a decision that I looked at, I delivered, I prayed over, and that is what that was what led me here.
Thank you, Councilwoman Miller. I have to say that I agree with Councilwoman Miller about how difficult a decision like this is to make, because it's an unpopular one. It's a very uncomfortable one for me, for my family, and for the rest of the folks that are sitting up here. It's very uncomfortable for you that are sitting out there, and I recognize that, and I understand it, and I feel for you. The decision that I made was based on several factors. The rent factor that was presented by each of the candidates was overwhelmingly responsive from the garrison. The investment that each participant was willing to make into the community and into the facility was also overwhelming. The vision, the look and feel of what the facility would look like, what the experience would be like for those that would come to the garrison. The food quality, variety, and pricing.
Rising prices.
And the conference center, the marketing, and the bookings that we could anticipate from the garrison. Those are all weighed very heavily on my heart on how to make that decision.
But your decision's better than
John,
thousands that are speaking. You're ignoring us. I apologize.
This decision was made with information that was not available to all of the public, because a lot of it was discussed in executive session, because it was financials and it was personal information about those restaurateurs that's none of anybody else's business. It's none of my business. But I was elected to review that information and make a sound decision based on all that information that was provided for us. The easy decision for me would have been to leave the status quo the way it is. This is not an easy decision. Do you think we would make this decision and face the backlash that we're going to face over this if we didn't think it was the right decision? If we didn't think that all of the information that we were given drove us to this decision? It's not popular, and it's not personal. This is a business decision that we've been asked to make as elected officials, to do what's right for our city and to do what we feel is also right for the residents. And I stand by my choice.
So you guys mentioned it's a numbers thing. For the last...
That's one of the 7 things on my list.
I get it. And so let's talk numbers for a second. So for the last 10 years, the Shore Club has been one of the top producers for hospitality tax. For the last 2 years, he's been number 2. For the 8 years before that, he was number 1. So the city's not losing as far as H-tax goes with John. Okay? He's not. So in that, if we're talking numbers, we're talking about getting more rent. We're talking about doing something that I feel it's absolutely un-American, is kicking a man out of his business. I don't, with the numbers, the city, we shouldn't be chasing a dollar in order to make more money for that area. We shouldn't be chasing dollars like that. What we should be doing is listening to our people and making the decision based on what our people want. And from what I've heard, our people want Shore Club. And the numbers, they still make sense. It's not like we're going to go in the hole. As far as, H-tax and everything, we're not going in the hole. We're doing well with that. The city, you looked at the budgets, the city, we're doing very well. We're financially stable. Everything's great. But for us, for me personally, I make the decision based on what our people want. And I'm asking, that's what I'm asking for each and every one of you to do. Put the numbers aside and do what we were charged to do when we were elected. We were elected to carry out the wishes of our people. John, we don't have any comments. John, we don't have any comments. We don't
Mr.
have any
Mayor,
comments.
if we're talking about the rent, that is relatively low on my list of items that I use for my decision process. But if you look at what the investment that each participant was willing to make in the facility to make it a better experience for our residents, that's a bigger factor than the rent to me.
I can see that. It would be.
And I 100% respect what you're saying, and I can't disagree with what you're saying, but the folks that elected us to this position also elected us to make tough decisions that are best for the city and the residents.
John, that's it.
I'm sorry.
You're disrupting my meeting. Your behavior is disrupting our meeting. Please use the public comments portion of this meeting to express your thoughts and opinions like you did. I'm going to ask for you to refrain from speaking out of turn again. Well, it would appear that we have the vote to do it. But folks, I'm telling you, this is not, for me, it does not sit well at all. I just don't think that it's the right decision for us to make to have the garrison in. So I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Let the record show we have 3 ayes and 1 nay.
Fellow council members, I know that's painful, and I appreciate everything that you all said, except for Tom. But thank you for your commitment to the city, all of you, especially you, Chris.
Okay, we're going to move on. This will be it was 5A, now it would be, now it is, what we're going to call that, 5D, 5B? So this consideration of the introduction and the first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Article 5, Section 192 of the City's Code, Ordinance 13, as it relates to the fiscal accounting period for the city. In May 1983, the City Council passed Ordinance 13, establishing the city's fiscal year as October 1st through September 30th. To better align with the fiscal calendars of the state and county, city staff is now recommending a change to the fiscal year, shifting it to run from July 1st through June 30th. The proposed ordinance before council seeks to amend the fiscal year accordingly. If approved, the 2025-2026 fiscal year will serve as a transitional period running from October 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Thereafter, all future fiscal years will follow the July 1 to June 30 schedule. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the introduction and first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Article 5, Section 192 of the city's code, Ordinance 13, as it relates to the fiscal accounting period for the city.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next item of business is a consideration of the introduction and first reading of an ordinance to adopt the fiscal year 2025-2026 budgets. this first reading of an ordinance necessary to set the budgets for the fiscal year 2025-2026 that were presented by the city manager during the public hearing. This budget is for a 9-month period from October 1st to June 30th, as we transition to a fiscal accounting period of July 1 to June 30th in 2026. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the introduction and first reading of an ordinance to adopt the fiscal year 2025-2026 budgets.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any further discussion?
I would like to, is this where I would want to talk about changing the millage from the 87 to a different number before we do it?
If that's what you would like to have for the discussion.
I would like to have a discussion
Yes,
about
ma'am.
that.
Sure.
I'm totally in favor of using this rollback opportunity to be able to fund our police department with additional salaries. I understand the need for the coming infrastructure expenses that we're going to have. I understand everything that you outlined as future expenses. But if, like you said, it's not necessary to get to that 87, I would like to be able to get to a number that gets us where we need to be, knowing that if for some reason we ever had to increase that, we have that opportunity to do so. I just don't see increasing to that level without cause at this point, just on the planning of what it could be. We have a pretty healthy reserve. You've said that. We're earning interest on that. We've said that. When we did our workshop, we had a pretty good ending to that workshop, going to 87 mills. When we thought we were rolling back to 85, that was a 2 mil increase. Now we're at 82, looking at 87. I would really like to make that, if we can get to that 86 and still give you that cushion that you need and still fund the things that we need to do, I don't see a reason to have to get to an 87.
My question is why is it that now we're gonna talk about doing an 86 instead of doing that like all summer long when we had all these budget workshops and all that good stuff that we were talking about? Why couldn't we do it then?
We didn't have the same option. We were talking about a different option altogether. The numbers rolled back further.
I mean, as long as we've got the money to cover everything.
We're basically looking
know.
at changing from a $292,000 to over a $500,000. We don't need $500,000.
You don't
We were
know.
good with 292.
We don't know we
But
need it
we
yet,
were
but we
good with
might.
292 not knowing. Why do we have to go to 500?
I'm fine with rolling it back to 86. I mean, I love rolling taxes back and putting more tax in people's pockets instead of paying it out. I'm great with it.
Then why are we arguing?
I'm not.
Oh,
I wasn't arguing. I was just saying, why couldn't we do this sooner?
Well, you said that
I really
you were,
wanted to do it
why
for
didn't we
sooner.
do it to 87?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did it. That's what we did it. We were looking at 87. I mean, if we want to do 86, I'm good with it.
Oh, okay.
I just wish we'd have done it sooner.
Yeah, I think we were looking at 87 when it was rolling back to 85. Now it's going 82.
Now it's going to 82.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
So you would need to.
We need to make the motion for that.
You would need to amend the motion to 86.
Do an 86,
That's where
Scott?
we're at.
Okay.
Okay, you guys are all good with that. I was going with 87 because that's what we went with before. The finance director was saying that's what we could use because we're going to have a whole bunch of items that we're going to have to pay for in the future. 86 will get us there, so I'm comfortable with that. So with that, I have to just make the motion and then change it at the end. So, Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the introduction and first reading of the ordinance to adopt the fiscal year 2025 and 2026 budget with the millage rate of 86 mills.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
I'm not getting yelled at.
Don't say 85 that we just did 86.
Nope.
Or 84. Okay, we've already done that. We did the adoption of the budgets. Okay.
Guess I was off daydreaming. Good evening, council. Hope everyone is doing well.
Hey, it's not your turn yet.
I thought that's what. I thought I missed that. That's what I'm saying.
Just stay there. Just
I'm going to take back what I said.
go back to
Mr.
go back
Mayor.
to the
Go
dream.
ahead.
Go back to the dream. It's okay. It's okay.
Somebody's had an energy drink tonight.
I had a little bit of coffee. Can
I
you
like
tell?
it.
Get you another shot of that stuff. Okay. This would be a consideration awarding the bid for the Fort Mill River access debris removal. Thank you, Lord. In accordance with the city's procurement code, bids were solicited for this project as this falls under the city's open claim for reimbursement through FEMA as a result of Hurricane Helene. This item is before council to consider awarding that bid. We've got a lot more stuff to clean up in the river, and we want to make it as beautiful as it was before. It's on the bank, so.
It's actually up on the trails near the fishing piers and everything.
Do I have a motion?
I'll go. I'd like to make a motion to award the bid for consideration of awarding the bid for Fort Mill River access debris removal to Riverwalk Landscaping in an amount not to exceed $12,000 and authorize the city manager to issue the notice to proceed.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned of the wording there. It's almost like we're making a motion to make a motion. Is that appropriate on there? Can
Okay.
you help me understand the English there? Make a motion to award the bid for consideration of an awarding the bid.
It's just typo.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that,
Jason
sorry.
just yelled at me.
Thanks. I'll turn my hearing aid up.
So this is to remove the debris and everything along the trail to access
Thank you.
from the
fishing
parking lot
piers and
to
whatnot. You're just
the
moving
river
to,
access.
making a motion to award the bid.
Okay.
There.
And then
Thank
there's a technicality that's in there that possibly disqualifies the Riverwalk Landscaping
If council wants to waive the technicality, that's within your right.
with their
So
price where
it's
they're at.
No, it's a small technicality. It's as part of the RFP, they are asked to return the addenda signed.
Okay.
They were the only ones that didn't turn that in. But as Charlie mentioned, part of the general terms and conditions, if you decide or council decides that it is in the best interest of the city, you could disregard that.
I am completely fine with that. They are the lowest bidder at 12,000. The next one is at 18,000, and there was one all the way up to almost 500,000. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I was like, are you kidding me? No, 12,000 is fine.
They were hoping no one else put in the bid.
They were 500,000, no
So in
way.
the spirit of transparency, can we put a limit on making sure that it comes back signed before we move forward with payment?
So we can, absolutely. We can ask them to return that.
Okay. I just hate for that to get uncovered a year from now and somebody say, why the hell didn't we have a signature?
Absolutely, and as a part of it too, they'll be required to get a business license in the city, so we'll continue that, make sure that that's signed as well as when they turn in their business license.
Thank you.
Absolutely make that happen.
Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'll call the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Didn't even let me give my speech, but thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go back to dreamland. Drink some more energy drinks. He's
Love
bouncing
that guy.
around like a gazelle, you know.
I love that guy.
All right. And that would bring us to council comments. And I would like to start with you, Councilman Carter, please, sir.
All right, let's go. All right, I want to thank the residents that are here in attendance this evening, even the ones that left earlier, and the ones that are watching online. I appreciate you guys watching. I know everybody was really interested to see how that contract discussion played out. Again, it was not an easy decision. It's not easy. Take it to heart. It's hard. I'd like to say thank you to everyone on city staff and all the department heads that keep our city running smoothly every single day. You guys do an amazing job. To the police department, thank you so much. We're one of the safest cities in the state for a reason. And the fire department, thank you guys for keeping us safe no matter what. and do that. So. Public comments, you are heard, and we do hear what you guys are talking about. So when we're talking about the silt fencing and the drain runoff and everything like that, we did hear the ones about the shore club and being pro shore club. We do hear that. We take that into consideration. So it doesn't fall on deaf ears, and we really soak that stuff in and make difficult decisions. With that being said, I'd like to go off and talk about recognition. I typically recognize somebody in the community that does something that's like amazing. So this person I'd like to recognize moved to our community back in 1993. I had the pleasure to meet this person back in 1994, and she introduced me to this community back in 1997. So I've been coming here to TKK for a long time. Finally, I moved in at 2006, but this person has been one of my biggest supporters in life and on council. She watches every, she watches every council meeting. Sorry. So, sorry. Take a deep. So she watches every one that's streamed all the time, every evening. Tonight she's not watching it because she's finishing her master's program for Masters of Healthcare Administration, and she's presenting her capstone project tonight. So she's doing an amazing job. I'm sorry, dude, I can't do it. This person I'm talking about is my wife, Laura Carter. She's awesome. Congratulations on your master's. Yep. She's an amazing wife, mother, and everything. I'm community advocate for TKK, and thank you for being you. So that's it.
Good for you, Brian.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
She is awesome. I do
Yes, she
concur.
is.
She is awesome.
Yes, Laura's awesome.
Councilman
I will start with a big congratulations to your wife as well. That's outstanding. Great, good for her. I'll quickly pivot. Fire and safety, police, thank you for everything you do. We wouldn't be the city we are if it wasn't for you. A lot of people move here for the schools. That's what you hear all the time. But underneath all that, we know why they're really here, right? It's because it's the safest city in the state. Come on, Chief. I see you back there smiling. And our wonderful fire department. There's been a lot of calls recently, and they do an awesome job. And I just want to give a shout out to both of them. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't say how awesome the city's looking. So all the staff out there working every day, it looks just amazing. Thank you for all you do. And of course, the men and women in the office who are in there every day, they're kind of the behind the scenes masters, keeping everything running smoothly, keeping all the paperwork going. It doesn't get said enough, but thank you. Appreciate everything you guys do in the office. And big shout out to Bob. Thank you, Bob, with this budget. I know, and where's Doris here? Or Dana? Is Dana here? Dana's not here, and Dana. I know you two work tirelessly on this budget, and we appreciate it. So thank you all for that. And to finish, I just want to say, all the kids went back to school. I hope everything's going well. Everybody's getting their new sleep rhythm together. I know it's messed me up a little bit, but I'm getting back on board. So I hope everyone's having a great back to school year. And Charlie mentioned it earlier, but I wanted to just give a personal welcome to Theo to the department, and welcome to TKK. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Htslip. Councilman Shirley.
Yes, again, I'll thank our terrific staff for the job that they do, keeping our city great, bright, clean, looking beautiful, and the greatest place to live in South Carolina. Probably the greatest place to live in the Carolinas. And we can even broaden that net, because I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I had somebody ask me one time, if you hit the Powerball, where would you live? Right here. Might have a vacation home at the beach. But this is where I'm hanging my hat, because I love this place. And we do this, and we take this beating, and we beat each other up, and we make some hard decisions, because we do love our city, and we love the people that are in it. And I love how the staff is so committed to making our city run and operate and look great. So thank you for that. Thank you to the people that showed up, that spoke, that have an opinion, that have reached out to us over the last several weeks. There have been so many varying opinions about one of the decisions we made tonight, and I respect all of them. And even though those opinions are even varying up here on council, we try to make it right. We try to get it right, and we try to do it right. I heard a comment on the way out when folks were leaving that we can be voted out, and that is very true, we can. I would encourage folks that are unhappy with some of the decisions we make to consider running and consider doing what we do. It's way harder than I thought it would be. It really is. It's way more time than I thought it would be. It's way more taxing on my wife and kids than I thought it would be. And my kids are watching. Well, one of them is from Fort Jackson in Columbia. The other one is on deployment right now. So he'll probably watch this later, and I hope he's proud of what his dad did tonight. And I got to tell you, I'm proud of this council that they don't run from the hard stuff. They don't run from the tough decisions. They don't skimp on the research. They don't skimp on the time that it takes to be committed to the city. So thank you, council members, for that. That's all I got.
Thank you. Councilman Shirley. Mrs. Mayor Pro Temp, if you would, please.
I'll start with the easy stuff. Charlie Mayer mentioned the garden club. This club has done a phenomenal job stepping in and being involved for our memorial gardens, and they've got plans, and they're committed, and they're excited about making that continue to be the showpiece that it is for our city. I know that whenever I have an opportunity to walk it and see how beautiful it is, I always wonder how they keep the deer off. But they do an amazing job, and I'm really glad that the city's working with them and continues to work with them and doing the bigger projects so they can work on the beautifying. I'd like to thank our standing committees. I know how much time it takes to give any little bit of your time and to volunteer and to give a year and 2 years of your time, even if it is just once a month, to improve who we are and what we're doing and where we're going, and to give your time, your talent, your voice to making things better in our city. That's where it starts. And you're very appreciated. I'm really glad I'm not the only one that's getting emotional tonight. To speak about our community. A couple of you have said that this was not an easy decision. If I wanted an easy decision, I wouldn't have raised my hand to run for council and represent so many different voices, so many different values, and so many different perspectives. If I wanted an easy decision, I would have taken what the loudest majority said they wanted and called it a day. I did what I felt and continue to feel is the right thing for our city. And I will do that every single time. Whether I cry about it, whether I get mad about it, I will stand up to do the right thing. And I am 100% convinced that we took a step forward today for our city. And I am proud of that. It was not easy. It will not be easy for many months to come. But I will stand by my decision. And I'm proud of all of you for standing by yours. It shows character, and I'm very proud of that.
So that brings it to me. First off, I'd like to thank, as always, our staff. You folks do a phenomenal job. We've had a lot of storms and a lot of debris to clean up, and God, we just keep getting pounded. But our staff keeps coming back, and we just keep on pounding back. So in light of Panther season about to begin, our staff does a lot better to keep pounding than the Panthers have done. And I'm thinking about switching over to the Bills. I'm not even kidding. Maybe Cowboys this year. But no, kudos to council. Folks, it takes a lot of time to do what we do. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of research. The three folks that presented for the restaurant, we would have been good with all three of them. That's the beautiful thing about TEK is our city welcomes excellence. And it starts with our staff, with council, and I appreciate each one of you being excellent people, and I enjoy serving with each one of you. With that said, school is back in session. Everybody, please make sure that you're watching out for our children. We got a lot of kids that love to ride their bikes, ride their scooters to school. Make sure that you're watching out for them. Parents, please put some reflective gear on your kids, some lights, that kind of thing. It would help a lot. We have put lighting on the trail. Thank you to staff for doing that. It looks excellent. It's awesome. Thank you for getting that. We've got some more RFBs coming to help our kids be even more safe. And our walking public to be even more safe. So we're working on that. Got a lot of stuff in the pipe. It's coming down. It's going to be great when it all gets here. But please, please, please watch out for those kids. And when you're coming through the school zone, please obey the speed limit, or you can even go slower. It's okay. You're not gonna hurt yourself if you go slower. It's okay. And watch out for our police officers. They're out there directing traffic for us. They do a great job for us day in and day out. So just watch out for those folks. Make sure that you're keeping your folks safe. Our fire department, Chief, thank you for everything you guys are doing. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the effort. You guys have killed it the last month again, and really appreciate everything you're doing. Our staff, our maintenance staff, they are knocking it out of the park, folks. This place looks so awesome. Just keeping the canopy cut is a chore, but our guys take it on and they do it in stride, and they do a great job at it every day, day in and day out. Our park and rec, Dustin, you guys are knocking it out of the park. No pun intended. And with the numbers that we had, I remember when I was coaching, we would be lucky to get 200 or 300 kids to come into the program. Now we've got 2,000. That's just a testament to the operation that we're running here in TEK. Everybody wants to come and play ball with us. It's a great thing. And in that, folks, we're right around the corner from fall. We're right around the corner from Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for in this city. The fact that we can live in peace and we don't have bombs dropping on our heads. The fact that we can walk down our streets and not worry about getting mugged or shot. Let's continue that tradition. Our police department does a great job of helping us be safe, but we also need to remain vigilant as citizens of the city to help us all remain safe. So in that, if you see something, say something. We've got a very, very low crime rate, almost zero, and we want to keep it that way. And the only way we do it is working with our police and the citizens of our city, making sure that you say something when you see something. So in that, I appreciate everything that everybody's doing. I appreciate the folks that all of the research and everything that you folks have done on council. Thank you, Charlie, for the excellent job you're doing. And Chaplain, I appreciate you as well. Just look forward to it. Catawba Fest is coming, so everybody get ready to party. We know how to do it. Thank you for attending, and I will take a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Let's state
I'll
the
second.
3 reasons.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for the discussion of contractual matters as it relates to Fort Mill School District, also legal advice as it relates to the revocation of a business license, and a discussion of contractual matters as it relates to the beach and swim center, Catawba Park concession stands agreements.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are in executive session.
Keep us
Thank you,
honest,
folks.
Chaplain. Keep us honest.